Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 101st episode. I know I did. I just realized that the other day of Cameras and Coffee. And today, will shock no one to learn, what we're going to talk about is the new Pentax K-3 Monochrome. But first, okay, so today, coffee. Oh, Steinbeck, you're out of water. I'll fill up your water bowl as soon as the video's over. Okay. Coffee is from Duck Rabbit Coffee. It's called the Nguku, N-G-U-K-U, Kenya. It's okay. It's not my favorite. I just don't think I like the roast is very good on it. It's a very good quality coffee. It's like middle of the pack. It's a fine coffee to drink. I've had a couple of better ones this year. So if you like Kenyan coffee, mild flavored Kenyan coffee, it would be a really good one. All right, so this is an exciting camera. The Pentax K-3 Monochrome is an incredibly exciting camera, but not just for all of the standard reasons that you might think. So from a usability perspective, the K-3 Mark III, I've heard from enough of you that you love your Mark IIIs to believe that it is in fact an amazing camera. And things like reportedly, I haven't used one, I would like to, but reportedly the viewfinder is incredible on it. And so building any platform off of that viewfinder is going to be something that a lot of people are going to like. And I've also heard that just from layout and usability, it's an amazing camera. I've always loved my K3. I got to use the K3 Mark II when it came out, also a wonderful camera. So I have no doubts that the Mark III is amazing and that the Mark III Monochrome is going to be amazing as well. Also, one of the advantages of a monochrome sensor is you can use traditional photographic filters to affect your cameras in your images in camera. It's a huge difference because things like Photoshop, for instance, and other photo editing programs, they're going to use color channel data to simulate the look of different filters. So for instance, if you take a color digital photo and you put it into Photoshop and you're like, let's convert it to black and white and then let's jack up the red levels so that the sky gets nice and dark. Well, that works if your camera's recording blue levels, right? Because you can simulate the look of a red filter by changing your color levels. With a black and white digital camera, as I understand it, I am very much looking forward to using the K3 Monochrome. Yes, I will be using that as soon as I can get my hands on one. I understand that you need to have filters for controlling those things. So it is a completely different photographic process where you get a digital file, but the image capture is more in line with the traditional black and white film photography workflow. So for those of us who'd like to take our time and really craft interesting and compelling photos, especially landscape and cityscape and architecture photographers, who like to shoot that type of work in black and white, this is going to be right up your alley. Another reason that this is a very exciting camera is, well, of course, it's got Pentax build quality. It's going to be great for taking out in the field, but because it's an APS-C camera, it's pretty small compared to a lot of the full frames on the market. It's a much smaller camera. So small, robust, really good for taking out for those landscape and cityscape photos. But the thing that I think is most important about this camera is what it says about Ricoh. So Ricoh, a year ago, whatever it was, we talked about Ricoh going to a workshop-style production. I don't know that that's manifested in any real way. But what this shows is that Ricoh is looking at different ways to say, what can a camera be? What can we make that will engage the film enthusiast community? It's not just the film camera series like the point and shoot building up to a mechanical SLR that they talked about earlier this year, which is a very exciting thing. But having a black and white dedicated version of the K3 is also a really interesting thing because it shows that they are cognizant of the popularity of film and they want to build a product line that complements that for photographers. To not just say, here's a bunch of different one-offs and things like that, or here's a product line where things are fundamentally the same with different levels of software in the cameras or whatever. I think we all know who I'm talking about there. Anyway, what Ricoh's doing is they're saying, we understand the marketplace for enthusiast niche photographers. They're not producing this camera. They're not producing any camera at this point to be the #1 in the market, and they know they're never going to be, and that's fine. But what they're producing are cameras that are interesting and high quality and unique to fill that gap of the percentage of people who are left over who really just don't like the mirrorless cameras, or don't like the size of some of the new mirrorless cameras, things like that, or really just truly love the DSLR interface. I think that's a savvy move and a savvy marketing strategy, and also having the this monochrome is a really good way to build that niche product line, because there aren't that many monochrome cameras out there. I think there's a phase 1, which I can't imagine that a K3 is going to be in the same price point as that. I don't know how much that is off the top of my head. A couple of Leicas. I think one of the M11, a Leica monochrome. Anyway, it's $10,000 camera. And then there's another Leica. I forget how many Leicas. I actually tried looking it up before this video. I'm like, it'll be really easy. There's like a Wikipedia article on how many monochrome digital cameras there are. No, there isn't. I could not find a list of all the monochrome digital cameras on the market. So I went through a bunch of different sources and pieced together those 3. I have to imagine there's more than that. But all of those are spendy. So if there is a monochrome digital camera on the market that's going to be at the same price point as the K3 or lower than the K3 will be, I'm unaware of it. If someone else is aware of it, they will absolutely comment. But my guess is that the K3 is going to be the least expensive monochrome digital camera available for purchase. And that is a good place to be in the market. A high quality product that is the most affordable is a good thing. So I expect that is where Pentax is going to land with this monochrome. There is one thing I would do much differently about this monochrome than Pentax has. So my hope, by the way, Pentax, is that your menu system and everything on the LCD is black and white. No color. Just commit the whole camera to being black and white, including the menus. I think that would be very neat. But secondly, I was looking at the photos of the K3 monochrome, and it looks basically exactly like a standard K3. There's no monochrome designation on the front of it that they showed. I would, if I were in charge of product design, put in some sort of subtle design element that set it apart from the other K3s. So for instance, if you should have grabbed one of my Pentax cameras. Okay, so I grabbed my original K3, and it's not meaningfully different in appearance than the Mark III. But you've got the Pentax logo up here on the top of the prism housing for all of them, right? I think it would be neat, were I in charge of product design, I would either on the side of the pop-up flash on either side, or somewhere else on the body, maybe a piece of trim around this, because the monochrome they showed is all black. I'd put just like a little white stripe, right? Or a silver stripe or something like that, just so that you can glance at it and say, there's something different about this. Give it a really subtle and attractive design element that sets it apart from the standard digital camera that is all black. And that wouldn't be, it probably cost a couple bucks or whatever, a few bucks per unit to put it on, but I think that would be a really, really neat thing to do, so that you can just look at it and see that neat little design element that says, this is something special. So, if they haven't gone into production, Pentax, that's just a thing to think about. So now I guess the big question is, am I going to buy one? No. If Lens Rentals or one of the other companies has one to rent, I will rent one, and I'll do a review on it for sure. No doubt in my mind will I do a full review on that camera. But I'm not going to buy one, only because I don't see myself being in the market for an APS-C digital SLR ever again. or quite frankly, even an APS-C mirrorless camera ever again. I love the A7S II that I record these videos, almost all of the videos for this channel on. The A7S, the A7 IV that I use for the stills that I've been capturing for this digitally for this channel, and my K1, which I still use for all of my Pentax lenses, for everything except video work. If Ricoh had said, we're releasing a K1 Mark II, whatever, that has a monochrome only sensor, that I would buy. In fact, if that comes down the pike sometime in the next year, my K1's probably getting replaced in 2024. If that were available in 2024, I would buy that. Yes. So that is, if I were an APS-C shooter, I would buy the K-3 Mark III monochrome. I'm just not that type of photographer. So I know that many of you love your K3s, and I'm sure that this Mark III's the monochrome is going to be an amazing camera. So let's hope I can get my hands on one shortly after they come out and use it for about a month. Anyway, thank you everyone very much for watching, and I will see you in the next Cameras and Coffee. And I don't know, maybe Steinbeck won't be ignoring his girlfriend Popcorn at that point. So talk to you guys later.